Rachel Zegler looks to be losing screen time when it comes to Snow White. It's almost impossible when you think about it. How in the world can the lead protagonist, the lead actress, actually be featured less in a movie in which she's, well, the star? Well, what if the company who is putting you in that place decides they would like to retrace their steps and drop a new star, a young star, a not you star in the role? Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel. We're here to explain entertainment. We're here to keep you ahead of the culture curve. We love doing so. The mainstream media sometimes can't stand it, but we continue to stand tall because of you all. You put us in this place. You're the gigawatts. You're the electricity that makes it possible. So thank you. Today we're talking about Rachel Zegler again. We did a video earlier about potentially this young star who has been the star of many controversies, of her losing screen time in her very own movie, Snow White and the Seven Magic Hippies. Oh, I mean dirty hippies. I mean dwarfs. Sorry, it's so confusing. Well, we brought forth to you all the young star who seems to be replacing Rachel Zegler for portions of the film. Now, we're ready to bring on the panel of experts to talk about this, people who know what's going on in Hollywood, and we thought their voices would really matter and add to your enlightenment as to what is going on with the Walt Disney Company and how they handle this very tricky situation. So folks, let's get down on this conversation faster than Peter Dinklage gets down on dwarfs having a role in Hollywood. Let's bring in the panel right now. We broke it exclusively on thatparkplace.com. The article's up there. For those of you who are not around for this one, essentially, Rachel Zegler, who just look how precious she is. Rachel Zegler, she, her, hers, back October 19th. This is what she said about Jeremy Renner. Actually, I think the new Hawkeye should be a blankety, 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 blank, 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 blankety, blank, 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 so that she could be mean to Jeremy Renner because apparently he's a garbage monster. And then he saved somebody's life by tossing him out of the way of a moving snowplow and was crushed underneath it so that he could help his fellow man. He's terrible in the eyes of Rachel Zegler.
But replace him. Get rid of him. He's the worst human being to ever live.
Exactly.
How dare you?
Here's the scoop. Here's the story. Rachel Zegler is being cut out of significant portions of her own film by Disney. And as time has gone on, this is becoming less of a rumor now, moving out of rumor territory into getting close to very well corroborated. Here's from the paragraph. According to a source we believe to have accurate information, Disney has been looking for a way to soften the image of Snow White as played by Rachel Zegler in the movie. According to the source, the amount of reshoots they need for Zegler is prohibitively intensive. It goes on to talk about exactly how they're going to replace her, and here is the way. The source claims that Disney has hired a young actress to play Snow White as a child. The idea is to cut time out of Zegler's performance, show Snow White as a cute little kid, and soften the character with flashbacks and or major origin story portion at the beginning of the film. Of course, edits have not yet begun for these scenes as we believe they're not shot yet, so things could change. That said, if they do go forward with significant cutaways to Snow White as a child, this is a deviation from the original. And wouldn't you know it, after receiving this information last week, it turns out there are sites reporting that Disney has indeed hired a young actress to take the role. And that would mean that they're actively inserting a new childhood portion of the movie that wasn't originally planned. Now, Jonas, when I first started telling you that I had a source telling me this was going to happen, we did not yet have articles that had made it onto the web confirming that a child actress had been hired. That child actress that we believe is going to be replacing Rachel Zegler, at least to some degree with screen time, is Amelia Fletcher. Now, we're not suggesting that Rachel Zegler is completely cut out of the Snow White movie. Rather, we are saying that there was an entire film dedicated to Rachel Zegler, and then when Disney decided to delay and that they were going to do reshoots, significant reshoots this year so that they could re-release this thing in 2025 or release it for the first time in 2025, that just now, just in the last month or so, that apparently Disney has hired a child actress to come in and shoot entirely new scenes that were never conceived to be in the film in the first place in order to cut down the screen time that Zegler has because it's a harsh portrayal. Remember, Zegler has said that Snow White was going to be a socialist liberator, a socialist activist. And so apparently Amelia Fletcher not going to be that. She's going to be a cute kid who sings songs. And yes, she is a child singer, vocalist, etc. So this is the situation for those of you who did not know that yet. Exactly. I want to go to the panel, though, and get your thoughts on this because this was breaking this morning. And Tom, I guess I'll go to you first. Tom, your thought on
the dwarves. She was Snow White. Coming soon.
She
My
was
goodness, Tom,
white.
that's so good. I love that.
Tom, what do you think about the idea that Disney was stuck in a situation and the best way out of it was to cast a child actress as Snow White, cut Zegler out of some portion, soften the character, and then also on top of that, just to throw you another curveball, what do you think about the idea that this is the one category of person that Zegler might not actually attack?
I'm not surprised by this because we all wanted a Snow White prequel.
Origin
I need
story.
to know
We
the
needed it.
origins. Yes, I need the origin story for her dress.
I wanted to know
for her
where she
name.
learned to whistle while she worked.
Right,
We need to know the answers to these things.
How did she get her hairstyle? What mother figure inspired her for her hairstyle?
Yeah. What was her proclivity towards little people?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, these little people need to look garish and cartoonish and awful. So I don't know how she's going to react in the movie to these things.
These just look bad.
Yeah.
But so we've got a child actress coming in. This seems to be an attempt to try to salvage the film. Here's the tricky part about this, though, guys. So we already know that they've got the dwarfs that they now have to do CGI for. They've got to get voice actors to play these dwarfs because the Dirty Bandits are not necessarily cartoon voice actors. You've got to have you've got to have the motion capture brought in. You've got to have all that done. Now on top of that, we're finding out that they're going to shoot entirely new scenes. That means you've got to have set builders come on and build these entirely new scenes for this new segment of the movie where you're going to have flashbacks, callbacks, maybe an origin story in the beginning to this child section. The money for the production of this film is getting insane. So I get they want to salvage it. At the same time, I mean, are they going to spend $500 million on the production of this thing? We had heard reports it was over $300 million already. How much are they going to spend on this, chasing a box office that may never materialize for them?
Yeah, how do they justify that? I mean, in what universe do you say, hey, I think we got a dud here? You know what would be great? Let's just add more money to it. Isn't that awesome?
Are they just getting old scripts from the Once Upon a Time show? Is that what they're doing now?
Don't they own that now? Like, or they do own that. That was on ABC. Yeah,
it's their show
that they didn't use.
I think they were going to rehash it.
Yeah.
It's time for a remake. The Once Upon a Time Disney U.
It's a prequel. We need a prequel.
The only thing I really want to know is the culture warriors would have won, as it were, if that little girl ends up singing "Someday My Prince Will Come."
Well, Rachel wasn't going to sing that. Jonas, what do you think it says about Rachel Zegler that they need to cut her out of parts of the film now? Because she was originally going to be from beginning to end. She's Snow White.
Well,
somebody somewhere said that in 2024 we're going to reshoot parts of this film, and those reshoots are going to be flat out new shoots, and they're going to feature somebody else playing Snow White, and that's a little kid. She's more popular than Rachel Zegler.
You think about Rachel Zegler and how much she is dedicated to this role, meaning I don't think she's actually that dedicated to the role. I think she's showing up to get a paycheck.
Not
and
at
if she thought this was going to be a career defining role, then she would go back and do these reshoots. I don't think she's really that interested in this film. I get the feeling that she thinks this is something that she needs to move past. And as far as Disney is concerned, I think they see the backlash online, and maybe they think that backlash, they're either not going to get past it or it is legitimate. They obviously see that they need to reshoot this movie, which wasn't this originally supposed to release this year?
Yes. Yes, it was originally set for this one.
Yeah,
exactly. And now, if we do zoom in on that picture there, I think Tommy Lee Jones is probably going to be playing Grumpy there.
I don't like women.
And I'm here for it. Let me tell you. I think,
chances that's artificial intelligence again. Is that AI generated just like we believe the Mandalorian image is?
Oh yeah. I don't think there's I think Disney probably has the best AI people. Despite what Jason Antabi from Blackwell says, Disney has a firm handle on how to use AI.
Can the dwarfs really be this ugly? Like, you think these are really the designs they're going to go forward with? Because one of those dwarfs looks like he came off Mad Magazine.
So I actually am of the opinion, right? What's his name? Dopey looks exactly like Alfred Newman. Like to a T. But to your positing, Pro, I actually don't think that this is a final product thing, because if you'll remember, when this image dropped, it came with the announcement that, we're doing reshoots, we have to push it back, right after Zegler had blown up not just like our spheres, but the normie spheres too. Like nobody liked what she had to say about Snow White. You know, oh, it teaches bad lessons, yada yada yada. We got to update it. Everybody hated that. So I've been of the opinion that this was a quick mock job to go, don't worry, guys, we're totally doing it. And then they go, okay, guys, they're satisfied with that for now. What the hell are we doing? Like, what are we doing for real?
They don't know what they're doing.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that could be, but the thing with me is when the whole Dinklage thing went down and they were like, no. The dwarves are going to be in there, but they're going to be magical creatures. When I heard magical creatures, the thing my brain instantly went to is, they're going to be CGI versions of the cartoon, and that's kind of what we got here.
This is one case where Tom had a more innocent mind than myself, because when I heard magical creatures, it went somewhere else.
Well, here's the thing:
the magic dragon began to play for me.
The term
that's offensive to magical creatures.
The term creature in Hollywood generally
creatures of magical origin.
Yeah. Well, just the term creature in generally in Hollywood refers to any kind of effect, like a creature effect, any living being creature effect. So that keyed me in that it's probably going to be all CGI anyway, so that's why they don't need Mr. Dinklage. And that's probably why he was mad in the first place.
Now that's an interesting take, though, Tom. I've never thought about that. And you're saying that Dinklage got mad because Dinklage didn't get an invite. And he said, well, if I don't get invited to the dwarf party, no dwarf should go into a dwarf party. By golly, I'm kicking all the dwarfs out. I'll burn your dwarf house down. I'm Peter Dinklage.
From the inside out, or however you want to look at it. But yeah, and then the second thing that sticks out to me is the only thing that makes Disney's Snow White different from the original Snow White in the broad stroke is the dwarves, right? That's the one main thing that if you and I or anybody else wants to go out and make a Snow White, we can do it. The only thing we can't do is call any of the dwarves Grumpy, Sneezy, Doc, Dopey, any of those, because those are the Disney dwarves. They named them, they gave them those personalities. You can't steal those. It would be, you get sued by them.
Right,
so
they're trademarked as well.
Exactly. That's the one thing that differentiates their Snow White from any other version outside of the little cosmetic things, right, in the music. So I always knew these dwarves were going to have to be a part of this to begin with. That's why I'm wondering if they always were. But the thing that threw me off was the hippies. Like, what are these guys got to do with things? Are they huntsmen, like plural? Like, I don't get it.
Oh, they're definitely not huntsmen.
The hunts
somebody had the same train of thought I had.
People, yeah.
That's right.
But do we believe that Disney
people of hunting action?
Do we believe Disney just took the whole movie that they had, just put it into AI, and then AI came up with the solution? Yeah, you need to recast a young girl, and she changed the whole thing.
That's what it was.
Well, and that's pretty much the only solution you have, right? Like, what can you do? They can't publicly recast her.
Yeah.
They can't publicly fire her, but what they can do is diminish her role.
Yeah.
And I believe the story 100% pro. I think this is a great scoop you got here.
Thank you. Happy to bring it to the public's eye, and got a little nervous.
Midnight Ed's endorsed. Bounding into Comics endorsed. We got
that's right.
That Park Place endorsed. We got
it. Make the little girl the star.
I was a little bit nervous because as we got close to the video coming out, it takes time to corroborate these things and gain confidence enough to bring a scoop to the public. Credibility's on the line, and as we got closer and closer, there were outlets starting to pick this stuff up, and I thought, oh gosh, we're going to lose the exclusive. I'm going to be late to the party, so we're happy to get that out. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have come to the end yet again of another video of excellence here on the Pro Channel. What a joy it was to share it with you. Another joy would be if you were so inclined and so kind to click the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts about Miss Rachel Zegler. And folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.